Hey, y'all, welcome back to Fake Deep Thinking. Just a group of guys sitting down talking about the world. Today we got John,
Yurt.
Doc,
Yo, yo.
and myself, Eugene. So we're going to jump into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial going on because that's kind of been going viral a little bit. So we got a couple clips of, how do you pronounce his name? Grosskreutz? I think that's how you say it. I always screw up the name, so I'm just checking. Grosskreutz? Whatever. Y'all can read it. Y'all let me know. And this was his particular testimony when he was getting questioned by the prosecution and the defendants. I go for the first clip, Ian.
The defendant had
Krauts?
Pause
re-racked
it.
his weapon.
What are you saying, Doc?
Grosskreutz.
Gage.
Gross Gage?
His name is Gage. His first name is Gage.
Oh,
I'll go with
late.
Gage.
These guys. All right. Play it.
With the rifle still aimed at me. In that moment, I felt that I had to do something to try and prevent myself from being killed or being
The
shot
gun was
or
already out.
killed. And so I decided that the best course of action would be to close the distance between the defendant and I. You know, from there, I don't know. I mean, if it meant
You don't know what
trying
you're
with
going to do with a pistol in your hand?
Anthony had just tried wrestling the gun, detaining the defendants. I don't know.
All right, pause. So basically, this clip, he's trying to say that the process. If y'all haven't seen the video, I should go watch the video. Pretty much in the footage, I'm going to try to leave my opinion out of it first, but in the footage, Kyle Rittenhouse is fleeing a scene where he previously, I think, shot someone. Claim of that is self-defense. And then while he was fleeing, this guy and another guy had a, is it fair to say altercation try to be unbiased? An altercation, something, a confrontation. And in that confrontation, Kyle Rittenhouse shot one guy dead and then shot this guy's bicep off. And he's trying to say in that moment of the
Oh,
confrontation.
that was his arm?
Yeah, that was his arm.
Ooh, that suit is not filled. Okay.
That's what I was wondering, man. I was like, is this the guy?
I was like, that one sleeve look a little loose.
Yeah, and
Probably been.
so he's trying to say in that process, because in the footage, he kind of approached Rittenhouse. Then Rittenhouse put the gun down, and then he's claiming in that moment, Rittenhouse racked the gun, cocked it, mind you, whatever that motion is with the and then when he, I guess, went back at him that's when he picked up the gun and shot him again. He's claiming an aggressive action, I think, is what he's trying to say. That's where that scene was, or not scene, but clip.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
If
y'all remember the footage. I don't know if I should. We couldn't really find it. I don't know if I wanted to show it honestly, because
Pretty what his last name looked like. Grotesque. I mean, I'm gonna hold off to my opinion.
I got you. But that's a quick backstory on that. All right, go to the second clip.
Wisconsin Revolution, are you not?
No, I'm not.
You're a member of the People's Revolution?
No, I'm not.
Have you spoken at their rallies?
I haven't won.
And during that rally, have you made statements such as "Long live the revolution"?
I have.
And you have no affiliation with them, though.
Affiliation, yes.
Okay, there's some of those people in the crowd.
So basically, from my understanding, what the defendants were trying to point out here, and keep in mind you, I'm not a lawyer. This is just me following this whole thing and listening to them, and also Viva Fry. That's who I've been watching also to keep up with this. Apparently, what he's trying to do is associate Grosskreutz to a level of extremism, because I think that's the argument with Kyle Rittenhouse. If you can pinpoint the same thing, then it's like you had nefarious intentions being at this.
Have they pinpointed any extremist tweets or anything that Kyle Rittenhouse may have said or?
Well, I think there's another clip. I don't know if I have that clip. They're claiming that Rittenhouse, not actually it wasn't him, it was someone else, I think, said, fuck you, and that's when they touched their gun to like
No, I'm
Rittenhouse.
talking about
he was
does
around,
Rittenhouse have any?
I don't know if they have anything specifically of him saying anything. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure. But that's pretty much what's going on here. Is they're trying to do the whole
Extreme versus extreme.
kind of. I think so.
That's why I was asking the question.
Or pointing at least pointing out his extremism. or at least
Yeah, because I can't tell if that's a play on the jury to be like, look, he's an extremist,
Yeah.
or
'cause
to
it-
be
it-
like, well, they were just in conflict as whatever
Too
their
extreme.
philosophies are or whatever.
yeah. All right, next clip.
Filed a lawsuit in federal court. Is that right?
That is correct.
Did you read that?
Yes, I did.
In that document, you again failed to mention that you possessed a firearm. Is that right?
That is correct.
So in these documents that you are filing with courts, you are leaving out the fact that you had possessed a firearm when you were shot, right?
That is correct.
This is your testimony today, and how this case turns out has an impact on your ability to try to collect your.
Going right to his motivations.
That's
That he has
correct.
a financial interest in this testimony.
If Rittenhouse is convicted, your chance of getting $10 million is better, right?
I'm not entirely sure how that plays out.
It
Haven't
doesn't
had
play
any
out well
conversation with
now.
your lawyer.
Yeah, so as you heard from the commentary, trying to point out how he has.
Who would pay him $10 million?
So he's suing the state, I think, for damages from him getting his arm shot off. Because I
While
guess
he
the police
revolting?
didn't do their job or something like that, or blah blah blah. But in his suit, I'm not sure the specifics of it, but he's suing the state for damages, and he wants $10 million from it. And like the
I
lawyer
can
pointed
get
out,
the lawyer's angle then now, because if he's like showing him that he's suing the state while he was hurt during a revolt, so why should we pay him?
and I don't think I have a clip of this pointing out also, but he also didn't have a concealed carry permit at the time, so he was also illegally keeping his gun and stuff. Just a little information I'm trying to throw in there to get the whole picture.
Did Rittenhouse identify that he knew he had a handgun?
Has Rittenhouse do what?
That Rittenhouse identified that he knew this guy had a handgun? when
There's
he was-
footage. They show it.
Oh, you can see the handgun on him clearly?
You see the footage, and then also there's another footage that we didn't see of the arm, but the gun's still in his hand.
Oh, he had the gun in his hand.
When the arm was still, yeah, it was in his hand. Because the clip I showed you, no, it's a different one. There's some other guy, but in the footage, you can see, and there's a picture of his arm blown off at the time where the gun was in his hand. The footage, you can see the gun in his hand, and then you see that when he's over there trying to his arm, there's a picture of his arm blown off and the gun in his hand.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm comfortable with what I'm about to say.
And then last
Pointing
clip.
your gun at him, advanced on him with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him. Then he fired, right?
Correct.
Oh shit! That's it.
That's it.
Directed
That's it.
verdict. Directed verdict on all the murder charges. Kyle knows.
All right, you can pretty much
Directed
pause it
verdict
here.
on the murder.
So basically, what got him to admit is he was the aggressor. He pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse first, and Kyle Rittenhouse
He
reacted.
pointed his gun at him. He said,
He just admitted that he pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse's gun
"Can
first.
you replay that part?" And then also, what does that have to do with the other people that were shot?
Because if he proves that this was defense, and the other ones are probably likely defense also.
But you said he was fleeing the scene already after shooting somebody.
And that's when we're trying to get this footage going. The original clip that just recently came out, that was them showing FBI drone footage of the first scene, showing how it was also self-defense. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Until you
We didn't
pointed
watch
your
that
gun at him,
clarification. We didn't watch that clip, so that might be. I think might not. Go check out the footage.
advanced on him with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him. Then he fired, right?
With your gun
Correct.
pointed down?
Oh shit!
Not with your gun
That's
pointed
it.
down, but with your gun
Directed
pointing at
verdict.
him.
Directed verdict on
So
all
he's
the murder
trying
charges.
to point out how he was the aggressor. He had his gun pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse first, and Kyle Rittenhouse responded, and from
Gotcha.
the response defended himself.
Okay, y'all ready?
And he just correct. That's why they reacted as it's done. Like that's the whole point of this lawsuit right now. Is yeah. So go for it.
I think Kyle Rittenhouse should die in jail.
Well, first, second, before we get into that, if we've seen the footage, correct, Doc? You've seen the
Correct.
footage. Do you think
Yeah,
it was?
he,
Because this whole thing is about self-defense. Do you think Kyle Rittenhouse is self-defense?
No.
You don't think it was self-defense?
I do not support the law being used this way. I sincerely don't. And this is the biggest problem I have
What do
with
you
all
mean?
of
I'm
this
confused.
shit. We're all arguing semantics. The boy drove down there. Those people drove down there. They should all be put in jail. This guy that had his arm blown off should be put in jail. Kyle Rittenhouse and his mom should be put in jail for driving. You drove down to somewhere to defend yourself. Forget the whole. This is why I hate when the law is used.
Whether you believe it or not, his defense is he went down to
I don't care,
medical.
and that's my problem with the law. We're all arguing semantics when it comes to this now because it's all stupid because we're not allowed to address what the fucking real issue is. You shouldn't have drove down there. As soon as you drove down there, you decided you was guilty. As soon as they drove down there, they decided they was guilty. There's no self-defense when you're two stupid people. I don't care about none of that. All of this stuff is how people get away with shit. We're all sitting here, well, technically, the gun was this, and I get it. This was not the reason these laws were made. They were supposed to be straight, just honest, just whatever it is whatever it is. Now, because we've advanced and all this shit, we can just hide behind the semantics and I know my stand my ground law. So if I can make sure that this fits this stand my ground law, or whatever fucking law it is that I want to use, then okay, I'm technically safe. But my intentions, those don't get judged. And that's my problem with this bullshit. His intentions were wrong. Both sides. Fuck all of these people. His intentions was wrong. He went down there hoping he would kill somebody. Somebody convinced me that's not right. So fuck semantics, he was right. It was self-defense. He was hoping he would be in self-defense. So what is the punishment for making sure all of those things fit for you?
I don't know if I would agree to that.
He went there with a gun to do what at 17?
That whole point is self-defense.
Why? He could have been defended in his house. He could have been safe in his home.
So your issue is that he went period at 17. I can agree with that.
And the whole argument is out the window once you're talking about driving down there with a gun. The whole point is out the window for this dumbass nigga too. As soon as he drove down there with his pistol, as soon as you ran, he should have killed you. Fuck, shot your arm off. I wish he killed him because that's dumb. It's dumb. You don't run at nobody with no gun, especially if you're not ready to shoot it. You're not ready to use it. You run at him with a gun, you expect him not to shoot you? Of course he shot you. But before all of that, a whole bunch of stupid people decided to go do stupid things. And we're not talking about that because the way our law system is set up is, let's just talk about this little small part of this big thing, and if he's free on that, that's why I'm confused. We're sitting here like, then he's free on he killed people regardless of whatever it was. He drove down there and he killed people. He didn't have to drive down there. He wasn't forced to drive down there. It wasn't an obligation to drive down there. It wasn't nobody called him. There was no call to arms. He doesn't have a business down there. He chose to go down there. There are other people who have businesses down there. There are other people who have families that live in those areas. They didn't go. Kyle Rittenhouse decided to go. After that, don't care about anything else. Die in jail. That's my only opinion. Die in jail.
So I guess your whole thing is there should be some consequence for killing a man, even if it was in self-defense.
My argument is
because
if you're talking about whether he's guilty of killing a person,
because that's the whole argument right there.
Fuck this guy that he's talking about. When he went down there with a loaded firearm, did he go down there with the loaded firearm to defend himself? Because if his defense of himself was his priority, he would have stayed his ass at home. He chose to leave the house, making his defense of himself no longer a priority.
He put himself as potential danger.
And so now you want to prioritize it and use it as an excuse. You weren't walking up the street and you didn't get caught in a mob and they just ran up on you on accident. That's not what happened, my brother. So as far as I'm concerned, that has to do with him being guilty. I believe everybody can be guilty. We don't have it set up for that to be a thing, but I believe everybody is guilty. I believe he doesn't get his $10 million. Fuck him. He shouldn't get a dime. What were they even protesting about?
I think police at the time.
Police brutality.
Because of, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well, this is kind of just like an aftermath of that time where it was political ideologies or even philosophical ideologies like competing with one another. Like he went to go represent whatever he believed, and just like the guy he even admitted he was a part of a revolutionary group or affiliated with them. He went to go represent that group, and they conflicted. And then now when everything's died down, like the ripples are still happening, and people need to resolve this stuff, especially if that guy is the one who filed the lawsuit.
Boom. Asshole. He deserves to die. Both, like he did not like when you run somebody, you run at somebody with a gun. You
I
deserve
understand
to
that
die.
the intentions make it.
And Kyle Rittenhouse is just as extreme as the other guy. Let me explain why. Could a 17-year-old drive down there with a gun without you thinking that some type of propaganda is in his head? You don't like.
Especially
Was
with like
his call to
a
arms just?
firearm. With like
You get what I'm
a
saying? There had to be some
as
form
large a
of.
weapon as he had, I do think that they're both just like on opposite ends of the same fence.
Boom. I agree with that.
I honestly also agree that Kyle should have probably killed the other guy. I like he had a miracle moment in him where he's just like, I think they were both scared, and he was just like, I'm not gonna shoot this guy in the chest because I mean normally like if you're trained.
No, he probably was definitely trying to shoot him in the chest. The fact the guy got shot in the arm was lucky.
Kyle's
Okay,
probably
well,
I caught
I
two
don't know.
bodies already, my boy.
I think he might have. I don't know because I guess he did kill 2 people just before that. And this kid thought that like the country was in a revolution and he wanted to stop it.
Thought he was gonna be a hero.
Man, I try my best not to argue
then if-
intentions. I try to argue exactly what
Nah,
happened.
you can't do that. You can argue. You can argue intentions. You can't argue intentions. Sometimes
You're
I
really
get
trying
you.
to, because
but
I
you
understand what
can't-
you're
when
saying,
he
but
gets
you're trying to do root of it.
No, his actions literally spoke into what, dude. What people have to understand when it comes to these riots, this pandemic, and all this
So
shit,
if
we
he was
all
never confronted
participated.
by the people he shot and he just is a typical,
We
not typical, but
all-
safe night, would you still say the same thing?
If he what?
If he went to same night, if he went and didn't shoot anybody that night, would you still say the same thing?
That what? He went there with what?
The intentions you said.
If he didn't shoot anybody, then his intentions weren't to shoot anybody. If he left his gun at home, then his intentions were to shoot anybody.
But then the arc,
So what's his intentions to do with the gun then?
so he should. So I'm confused.
He went there with the gun to do what? If it wasn't to shoot somebody.
The arc to defend yourself if you put in a situation. So you think he went there with the purposeful intentions of shooting somebody?
No,
I want
I
to shoot
think he
somebody?
went there with the purpose intentions of putting himself in a position where you'd have to defend himself.
I don't.
And
I
that's
don't think
there's
so.
no way there's literally no way. There's the same way those rioters went there looking for somebody like him is the same way he went there. They needed each other. They literally need each other. This is the type of person that needs those extreme people to make his beliefs feel better, and this is the type of person that those extreme people need to make their beliefs feel better. But he went down there with his gun and at 17 to do what? You think he was sound thinking? You think he was making logical decisions? You think he was going down there with, I'm just gonna defend the building? And if you're talking about the whole thing was about protesting police and all this stuff. Isn't that a lack of faith in police on his part? So why don't you believe the police can handle their actual job and will get to whatever they need to get to and prioritize what they need to prioritize? But you took it upon yourself. When he chose to go down there, his intentions were no longer anything to debate. He went there looking for confrontation.
So I guess this is a personal question to reveal something in myself, because I guess technically speaking, political leaning, I lean on his side, but I don't lean as far as I would take action. Like I didn't feel the need to go protest against what's going on. I didn't feel the need to go to the January 6th thing, and that was definitely an option. Like I just didn't feel the need to go, and
I completely agree
and
with
I don't
you.
know if that's because part of me didn't feel the need to go, or maybe it's because I didn't feel the need to
I
go.
think that's kind of like a difference between, I guess, like people. A lot of people probably felt the same way, where they were.
But some
obviously
people
on
feel
one
like-
side of it.
Well, real quick, let me finish this whole thought, and then I'll let you go. But people who have this side of the political leaning thought feel the need to, like, I don't know if it's aggressively or be more louder or with their opinions, because I'll speak for myself. I don't like the direction where the country's going. I think it's going in a very bad direction. Some of us feel like we're not loud enough, doing enough, being actionable like the other side is to like putting their foot down, make themselves be heard, all that stuff. I don't know. What happened is bad. Is it wrong or right that he went there to, I guess, counter protest? I don't know his intentions. To assume negative intentions, I have to take it at face value that he went there to provide potentially, what he said, medical support for any casualties going on. And then you could say beforehand when he was helping
He had
put
an
out the
automatic
fire.
weapon? What type of weapon?
He had an, I don't know specifically what type of weapon.
Was it AR?
But it was an AR.
Okay,
I don't know the specific type though, but we put out some type of fire that's going on at a gas station. Like he went, I get what you're trying to say, but I feel like
I'm not
that's
trying to say anything. He said it. Like, that's not even something I'm even willing to debate.
Said
I don't
what?
think when he went down there, dude, we're not dumb. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. What he's doing and what he's saying and what this guy there's no difference to me between the two of them. So let me get that straight. What they're saying isn't fair to me and you, to anybody, because we all were involved. We all were involved with the pandemic. We all were involved with the protests. We all felt some type of way, whatever was going on. We all had an opinion on it, and we all felt what we felt about whatever we did, and we all chose to do what we chose to do. Now, if you didn't go downtown during the protest, I didn't go downtown during the protest, it's probably because we thought what? Either I'm not that interested in what's going on, honestly speaking, I don't believe that much in what's going on, or I don't want confrontation. I don't want myself to be put in a position to where I may be harmed or I have to harm somebody. These are the logical thoughts that go across your mind. And it's not even just your mind. Now imagine you're a parent and your kid goes down there. Now you're telling me for his mom to drive him there, that doesn't speak to what they're probably allowing his mental state to be? That's why I'm saying the facts are all there. We can say what we want. When he got in that car, he knew that I will have the benefit of the law on my side if I present myself in a defensive position. These are people that are being aggressive. These are people that are rioting. These are people that are looting. These are people that are hitting people with skateboards or whatever the fuck they're doing. Craziness. For you to choose to go in there, even a hero in any movie. If there's a large wave of evil or anything coming, and he chooses to stay and what?
So I guess the issue here, and I can actually agree this probably is the issue, is both sides, or there are two sides trying to claim Rittenhouse as a hero and
none of them are heroes.
Grosskreutz or say his name as a hero or something along those lines. And I agree. I think that's a little.
They're both.
Yeah, sorry.
That's kind of what I was thinking. They both went down as soldiers, and they conflicted. Like, I mean, dude, come on! You don't show up somewhere with an AR not expecting to, and then be upset when you have to use it.
Be mentally ready to use it, like John pointed out. The other guy, he had a pistol, he didn't even shoot it in the situation where it needed.
They both went as soldiers for whatever their causes were, and they conflicted, and now they're just kind of dealing with the aftermath, I think, of it. But yeah, to some sense, I guess that is true. It needs a level of radicalism to be like, all right, cool, like now it's happening. I don't know if like they felt like they needed to defend their neighborhood and stuff like that.
It wasn't even his neighborhood. He drove really far.
It was like 20 minutes from our Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
it was like 20 minutes. Allegedly, he worked in the area or around, but the other guy,
he was waiting
far
on,
there.
dude,
I mean, if we're trying to argue semantics, like
dream,
you said,
this was a dream scenario for both sides, and then they realized
for both sides.
For both sides.
I think I can see what you're saying because they're both politically trying to use this. I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a guy with an AR running around, and then on him.
Revolution has started, and the other guy's going crazy too. And
like he's sitting there, but on the car ride down there, you think he was nervous or excited? I think it was a mixture of both.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he was scared. I don't think he was like, these are all the things that go into it. And you have to remember, you've ever been in a high intensity moment and a random thought crept in? It happens. We compartmentalize. I've been in real intense moments, right, where things are probably going bad and a joke will creep in. Just because it still happens. Our minds still work that way. There were moments on that car ride, no matter what was going on, no matter how intense the emotion was, where it's, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to, like, there's those small little pockets of, like, taking in what the actual reality of what you're doing is. And he's not innocent, dude. He's not an innocent guy. Like, that's just, if he should be convicted in this case or with whatever, that's for the lawyers. Y'all can use whatever lingo y'all want to. And to be honest with you, all that lingo and all this, we ran out of slaps and started using lingo. That's the problem with all this shit, to be honest with you. Now everybody gets to use fancy words to dodge shit. Like, that's not even reasonable. That's not a reasonable conversation that we're even having. It's not real. It's fake. That's not an innocent boy. That's not an innocent man. Like, for us to even sit there and have to defend or talk about, like, whew, boy, I hate people like this. I hate
I wonder
people
what
like this.
the defense is going to say, because I feel like the defense would probably say something similar, like, "Why were you there with an AR?"
The defense
And
already
then-
rest their case.
Well,
No, I mean the prosecutors.
they did. I would argue technically did rest their case already. But to answer Doc's question, that's why I was telling you, like, if I'm sure they did, and he said his defense was, I was going there to supply medical aid, which was gross crits. I see he said his name. I'll just call him Gross. Screw it. That's what Gross's similar excuse was. Also, I went there to provide medical aid. Blah blah blah. That's why they try to ask him, like, are you affiliated with that? What was it called?
Revolutionary
People's
Army.
Revolution affiliate. Yeah, People's Revolution or whatever. And trying to show that he didn't go there for purely pure intentions. He had ulterior motives. He was probably participating, which I'm sure there's footage of him doing, blah, blah, blah. And with Kyle Rittenhouse, like, his intentions, he said, were medical stuff to provide medical aid and blah, blah, blah. And there's footage of him actually, like, putting out a fire at a gas station, which helps his defense, whereas the other one doesn't. There's no footage to help his defense. It's just claims. And there's actually recorded his own words where he's actually, like, saying, like, yes, I said some things there. Viva la Revolution, or whatever he said.
We're making psychopaths. Y'all have to see this. Both of these people are crazy. Both of these people are crazy. Oh my gosh. The more information you know, I'm learning, the more you just, obviously it sounds dumb saying it out loud, just get away with. Let me take a picture of me patching up this wall right quick. God damn it. Let me goddamn push this fiery trash can with this extinguisher. Hey, Mom, get this on Instagram. So I can blaze these bullets later and look like a fucking hero. Same with the other dickhead. Let me pose in front of a picture like I'm goddamn some type of anarchist or some type of free world hero. Goddamn it. But when it came time to pull that trigger, when it came time for you to really, he already caught a body. Why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you shoot? He already killed somebody. Why didn't you shoot? Because you couldn't. Because you couldn't. Because you're pussy. All right, can we get off this shit? Oh, my God.
Well, there's where I want to, I guess, ask one more question to, I guess, reveal more on me, I guess, or to self-reflect here then, is I'm obviously, to admit, give more, I don't know if it's forgiveness, leeway, or understanding to Rittenhouse than I do Groskowitz. And part of it is because even though I do lean probably similar in the political leaning than Rittenhouse does, I don't know. I don't see the critique as much as you do. You have against him. I really don't understand it as much.
I'm gonna call him Gage because it's just easier for me. His first name is Gage. Gage, in my opinion,
like, I really don't buy the extreme arguments.
No,
I can see why you'd make it, but honestly, I guess that's what it is to simplify. I don't really buy the extreme arguments.
Completely extreme. The reason I say we're making psychopaths is because it's so clear what to do now. That never again will we have. I don't want to say never again, but there are moments in time where there's so much chaos that you may get away with a little mischief. All you have to do is make it fit. And both of these gentlemen knew their mischief could fit within the chaos of what was going on. They could get away with stuff. If I say I'm going for medical help, they both got the same. They both was going there to do the same thing and end up shooting. Huh? Shouldn't they have been on, if their sole purpose was medical relief, shouldn't they have been doing the same thing? What is the argument about? If you're going there to medical relief, fuck the building. You're supposed to be relieving people medically, right? You're supposed to be helping people, giving people aspirin and bring asthma pumps and all that bullshit, right? So why didn't y'all have that? You had a gun in your hand with your hand halfway blown off, and you had the AR. Where's the medical relief? So if we're saying,
I think there is some footage of him actually providing medical relief to someone.
And I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some footage of the other
I'm
guy
trying to say how
doing
they're.
some.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
sounds like psychopath to me.
I get what you're saying.
Sounds like a planned job to me. I'm just saying, it just seems too good. So this innocent 17-year-old kid who went there to provide medical relief to all of those, not the rioters or the looters, to who? The business owners? Medical relief to who?
Protect their business.
No, medical relief.
The fire, but the medical relief, I guess, to help people anyone injured throughout the whole
Injured and all that stuff, right?
It was a riot.
Yeah, it just so happens that, he unfortunately was doing the right thing, and then these these horrible people came upon him, and he had to defend himself and kill two.
The biggest one I have a hard arguing is that you brought up is the mother knowingly driving her 17-year-old son to a riot so he could provide aid, help, or whatever. I'm not a parent, but I can imagine being a parent. I would think that would be something you definitely would not want to do, or at least let your child be a part of at that age.
Now, do you think? Another question. Do you think in
Did
that
that
car
really
ride,
happen though? Is that like for sure something that they've proven?
well, that she drove him there?
Yeah.
Yo, they've
'Cause
already
that
said
makes
that.
sense. Like, dude, like being in the car, in the truck, or like whatever with your kid while he's like, loading up his AR and being like, "All right, man, go soldier on." Like,
Boom. There you go,
they-
Doc. Do you think she said to him, now if anybody approaches you, what do you think she said? Like, come on. It's just plain and simple. You blow a fucking cap in their head. That's exactly what you're going to do. If anybody even approaches, if anybody reaches for something, if you feel like your life is in danger, and she's using those verbs, those words that we always hear in the court all the time.
So
my life is in danger.
So this is your problem then. Your problem is they both to what you're trying to say. They both had nefarious motives, and they're utilizing the law to justify their nefarious motives.
That's my point. That's my only point,
Well,
and that's why I hate.
yeah, I kind of get the apathy for the entire situation, because it's like you both showed up as soldiers for your causes and you conflicted. Like, did you not expect that this wasn't a possibility? And so,
But they're both trying to claim
they were medics.
They were good, but they were doing something good.
They're
I
medics.
guess you could say, to simplify it. Sorry, Doc, go on.
well, that's the thing though. Like they were walking into like a conflict zone. You know what I mean? And so I can understand being
confided,
apathetic to
or-
the situation of them being like, "All right, dude,
Conflicted.
like wait, what?"
No,
No, we're
sorry.
listening.
I said the wrong word.
Like, you were showing up to do your part, and it just played out that way. And so for them to like walk away with murder, essentially, I don't know if that's what they're arguing here. I don't know if this is specifically on the lawsuit. Then, I mean, I guess at this point the lawsuit might affirmate either side of the political spectrum, and that's really the thing that people are looking at. But I do kind of also understand that, like, overarching, like, it's just like, dude, you guys both fought when you didn't really need to, and so now you have to deal with the consequences of your actions.
But I guess the whole argument, that's why this whole lawsuit's going on, is because Groschwitz initiated the conflict. It's not that Rittenhouse, like, even though I can understand, I still don't know if I agree with it, the nefarious intent or motive here, but Rittenhouse wasn't the provocateur or the aggressor here. That's why, I guess, maybe that's another reason why I have trouble accepting this or understanding it, is even though Groschwitz was still the one who was the aggressor, that was the provocateur, and so were the other people.
It's kind of like
If
an
I throw
argument of,
myself in
like,
a lion's den and the
Kill-
lion attacks me, I'm sure they're the aggressor still. But I put myself in a lion's den. What frame of mind did I used to think to walk into that den? Was I not prepared for what may happen?
I just think it's weird that he went alone.
Mom dropped him off, ain't
He
it?
could have been meeting
Yeah,
up with
like
some friends or
alone, like-
somebody. Could have been meeting up with somebody.
That's weird.
They
Yeah,
try
I
to get
get-
him. They try to say he was affiliated with the Proud Boys, but I don't think he is.
I don't think so. I just
I don't
think
think
that
so
like
either.
he's probably a part of like an extreme family. I think they both are part of an extreme family, and they extremed out together.
I really, actually, you know what? I still think Kyle Rittenhouse should rot in jail, but I pity him because his parents are to blame. His parents are to blame because he has to be thinking, no matter what, right or wrong, what my parents have taught me has landed me here. Regardless of whatever it is, when your mom decides to drive you down there,
I mean, I can kind of
based on the beliefs, he has to be considering, like, it's just tough. It's just tough.
He's questioning life, and there's a lot of life questions.
Now, I've taken a life.
But
I've taken multiple lives, and I didn't have to even go. I know there's no way he doesn't regret going. What was the purpose? Did you accomplish anything? You put out a dumpster fire. You didn't accomplish anything.
you could argue that he probably saved some lives.
Did he? Only people got shot. he did all the shooting.
Damn. All right, the last say to Doc. Let's move on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess like I'm just apathetic to the situation where it's just like you all have to deal with your futures and whatever the fuck happened here. Like that guy, Gross, whatever, has to realize that there are real consequences to starting a revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy has Kyle Rittenhouse also has to accept the same mentality, but vice versa. There are real consequences to fighting for whatever is like already there, the status quo.
The sad part is there's no real war going on.
I think they both thought though in the moment that like it was gonna
Some
like
people say there is.
gonna continue that way.
Like, there was-
Well, I heard a political theory that the new civil war or like the current civil war is going to be fought in small pockets across the country. Like it's not going to be like, all right, left side and south side or north side, south side are completely divided. It's going to be more so like conflicts inner city and stuff like that. Like there's going to be like a still government and states and all that stuff like that, but within the people living in those areas, there will just be multiple factions, and those factions will be conflicting. It's gonna be like fucking
Life?
like Akira.
Mm.
You guys remember Akira,
Yeah, I
the
do.
anime,
Mhm.
when they're like living in like their city and stuff like that, but there's different religious factions and different like political factions, and they're just like starting conflict in the cities over here and there. I could see a future turning to that, especially if we continue with the nation going into like a neo-feudalism where all the politicians are basically kissing up to whoever comes into the presidency and just trying to hold that political party or that agenda going.
As long as possible.
Don't like that one bit.
Okay,
I
so
was like-
final
so-
question then.
I was complaining about that earlier.
Not on this case. Not on. Is this regardless of the case? Forget the case. Is this in the situation alone and whatever? Is this an innocent man to you? Is this an innocent boy to you? If you were to judge, just
Yeah,
in
I
general.
would. I guess that's why I had a contention with this, because I actually do see him as an innocent boy. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's wild to me.
But when you said that, that's why I was questioning so hard, because I just don't see that. Because I guess the root is I see an innocent boy. But see what you said, like, does make sense, and I guess that's what. But then I had an issue with it because you're arguing. Because you're arguing intentions, and I guess to admit I do question Growth Crit's intentions, because his are more
They're obviously, it's
blatant, I guess.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Like, he's an obvious asshole. He just wants the money now. He's trying to.
And to give, I guess, some credence to the whole nefarious thing is, if anything, he's like a sprout. So that's why I guess if
Okay, I don't think he's evil, if that's the point. I don't think he's like. I don't think he realized what shooting somebody. I don't think he connected it to actually killing people. I don't think he connected any of the things together. I just think it's kind of glorified, and so he wanted to be a
what's
hero.
glorified?
He wanted to be a hero for his country. He wanted to stand up for what was right. He wanted
I can
to
believe
be,
the specifically hero makes sense just
and
because of
there's
all the
an
hero
absence
things
of
going
that
on
right
recently
now.
with Marvel and DC and all that
Boom.
stuff. So the
But
whole
there's
hero
an
mentality, I can
and
see
there's
that.
it seemed like at that point in time there was an absence of organization or of just that hope, that belief, regardless that the police can handle whatever, regardless of which side. It seemed like he didn't believe that they were capable, because there's no other reason to come help. So I can't say he didn't go down there like, I'm gonna go kill somebody as a full thought. But all of his actions,
So I guess
he knew where he was going.
So
Like,
do you not then blame to a degree, and maybe I do.
His
That's why.
parents.
Well, I do understand the parents' argument. I actually really do understand that one, because I just can't imagine, like, if I actually 17 and I want to do what he did, would my dad let me go? Would he not have something to say about that? I think he would. I really think he would. My mom definitely wouldn't. Like, my
not
mom.
going for none
Yeah.
of that.
But would my dad? I don't even we do share political beliefs. I was talking about it all the time. Would he still let me go at
No.
17 during the riot?
No.
I can't say he would. I don't.
Do you know how your dad would be scared how you would look
But,
leaving the
hold
house with an AR?
But I agree with that. What I'm trying to get to is, do you then not blame climate at the time with the whole defund the police going on.
Yeah, he didn't believe.
And because he didn't have faith, like you said, and I agree with that, in the to a degree, I believe with that, but faith in the police to handle the situation that he felt like he needed at 17 years old, and not even police, like
No, I agree with
ambulances and all the emergency people, like you didn't have faith in them technically.
I agree with you.
Do you not give blame for that then, the portrayal?
Yes, but I don't blame them for his actions. That's you know me.
Okay, I can see.
Man.
Exactly.
Hold on, say that, Doc. I didn't hear you.
Why would he do it by himself? Like,
Nah,
that's to me the
I-
biggest thing. That's the weird.
His mom dropped
Like,
him off and left him.
Yeah, like his mom fucking deployed him. Like he's like a super soldier. He's gonna go in and just fucking go in
Damn.
and like take care of
Damn.
everything. Like, dude, what? Like,
Dropped him in living
like,
quarters.
like maybe father and son, I would understand that, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like the kid
would've
was
caught a
following his
couple
dad
bodies.
and stuff like that, and they were doing stuff. But like, why would you just deploy him out there alone to handle some shit like that?
Like
Like,
fucking Duke Nukem.
yeah, it's just weird, man.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. But this is the thing. I can't associate blame when people do stuff, regardless of why they did it. Their actions are their own. They cannot blame anybody. If you do something,
So the
it's your
environment
own.
can't be.
So in the environment, yes, you know what I'm saying. I agree. Those things attributed to his mind, him thinking the way he did, him
Justifying his
justifying
choices
his action.
or
But his actions, all the accountability of his actions are still on him. So regardless of what happened, like the defund the police, he didn't believe. He chose to leave. Whereas he could have been patient. He could have waited. He could have done more research. He could have seen that this shit's not gonna work.
trusting his elders.
Trusting his, you know what I'm saying? But that goes to his parents. What do you think his parents are saying in the household?
That's why the parent one really didn't make it. Help me
His
understand
mom had to
more.
probably
I
be
just
like,
still
the world's on fire, it's all gonna
Mhm.
end, and he was just like, I need to go. I need to, like, this is the moment. It's all happening. And
Mom
they-
got him in the whip. It drove him. Oh
And they
my
went.
God. How does that mom feel? Is she still able to defend her taking him there?
I'm wondering if him being dead, would she still feel good about her decision? That's probably really fucked
That-
up to say,
yeah.
but that's like.
What
That's
if he
something to
did take a
think about.
bullet? You're absolutely right.
well, you have no
absolutely
idea
right.
how fanatical they are. Like, maybe she would just be like, well, he died for
A
the good of
martyr.
the country. Yeah, she would martyr her son and stuff like that. You have no
I-
idea.
All right, we've been talking about this for 42 minutes. That was actually,
knew this
for
was
me
gonna
at least, a
happen.
productive conversation. I still do view him in a kind of an innocent light, but I guess now a little more understanding, I guess, or perspective. There we go, a different perspective of it.
He's definitely like on the side of
He's 17.
law. Like he's like
He's on the side of the law. I get what you're
Which
saying.
is my fucking problem. Oh,
Like I'm thinking of it as I'm being a nerd right now. I'm thinking of it in terms of fucking Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm like, he's lawful neutral right now. Like, I don't, like John said, like he's probably not evil. He's definitely using the law to his advantage, but I don't think he's like lawful good either. Because I feel like if he'd have been lawful good, he would have shown up without a weapon and just been like, I'm just here to.
straight meta kicks and peanut butter
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Man, I don't know if that's lawful good, because the reason why I say that is because in America, you're actually lawful to have a gun and carry it. So he's technically like, so just because he had a gun, that makes it lawful bad.
And honestly, also, I don't
You're
know.
trying to use your terms, Doc.
Also, I don't know if this is all states, but you're not allowed to just hand
Well,
shit
no,
food out either.
that's why lawful neutral exists, because it's the middle ground between it. Like lawful evil would be like, haha, I
You
shot
did say
him,
he was
but-
lawful neutral. You did
Mhm.
say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like he's on the cusp, and depending on his intention, that's when it would come in. I think for right now, and then this is a key issue that like you have to think about, like what they're zoning in onto, because if you zone in too much into the scope, then you see everything, you don't see what's around it, which would be John's point, the intention. Whereas I think, Gene, you're focusing on what this particular hearing is about, which is the lawsuit itself. But I think to encompass all of it, yeah, like he's definitely innocent on these aspects, but he's definitely got to think about what the fuck he did for the rest of his life.
He had an itch. Now, do you think
See,
his?
I don't know. That's why, like, where y'all come from to get to that conclusion is I just
He
don't.
had
I
it.
don't see that.
Do you know? Because the other side had an itch. Anybody who chose to go to the city
Have
had
some
an
kind
itch.
of itch.
Okay, let me put it like this. Just put it like this. You don't have to answer it on the podcast. How do you think his conversation with God about this incident is gonna go? Honestly speaking, when there's somebody who is all knowing, all encompassing, how that conversation goes for both of those assholes. And then you find out,
And I honestly, I don't know. I would know how my conversation would go if I was in his situation.
100%. But you just
But
got.
I don't know. But I don't know how. If his intentions were pure, if they were, I'm on the side that they were. But you're right. That conversation, like that's.
You think God's just gonna be like, "Yo, free will's a bitch, huh? Free will sucks sometimes, right?"
All right. We're talking about this too much.
He should have shot.
Let's get something else that's deep. Maybe we'll talk another 45 minutes about this. Astro World.
Oh,
So
today's been a tough day for your boy.
So real quick summary. So Travis Scott had a concert at Houston, Texas, where pretty much they had sold out, 50,000 people in attendance. And from pretty much when it started to like, I guess pretty much when it ended was pure chaos. So we have a footage of, yeah, let's do this clip first, Ian. Pretty much people rushing the security booth, the gate, and some people getting trampled on. So this, go for it. Real quick pause. We're going to, warning guys. Some might find some of this footage we're going to show graphic and controversial and just probably whatever. So just warning, feel some type of way about some of the stuff going on. Here's your warning.
That girl will be frozen on and run like a raptor.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Fucking arms just.
Yo, what the fuck?
Ian, if you can't zoom in on that.
God damn. She finna
If you can't, don't worry about it. Yo, that is funny.
Bro, I'm just thinking of that scene where they're like, "We found them systematically testing defenses for weaknesses."
Oh my God. And she pops up. Yo, that's. Wait, hold on.
Yo, this is so
Hold on. That's a lizard person. That is not a real human being. There's a lizard people at
It's
this.
a very,
Travis
it's
Scott.
super pixelated, so
Nah.
it might be that particular pixel warping.
Look like
so.
a donkey with a wig on. Look.
Oh my gosh. Play, go
It
play.
really like
and
Winnie the
pause it
Pooh
again.
head. No, look at she really run like that.
All right, let's just watch it, play that.
Oh yeah, I forgot this is a serious thing.
I know.
You can tell the real athletes. That should be goddamn.
It's like fucking
B1
Squid Game.
sponsors waiting on the other side. I like how you made it over there. Oh yeah, keep it going.
Yeah, I was about to say yeah.
I mean, nobody died here.
We're not here, but like. So I guess pause. So obviously we don't have to watch the whole thing. Y'all see, and people got trampled. But the reason why is because what was it? An 8-year-old, 9-year-old?
9-year-old got trampled in.
That's why it's like. Oh.
Wait, he got trampled here?
No,
Not here specifically, but another incident.
God forbid. No. I mean, well, he did get trampled, so I can't.
But yeah, he did get trampled.
Forbid
Not
it.
in this particular incident from this footage, but in another separate incident, there was a trample.
During the night thing, in one of the night shows, the show that everybody was passing out.
Yeah, so apparently, I guess there was some moshing. I don't think we have that particular footage, but go to the next clip, Ian. Apparently, some people, were passing out. There was a clip I saw, I wish I saved it, of a guy, like, underneath a pile of people. And they just couldn't get up. Obviously, a pile of people, like, it starts getting heavier and heavier, and you just couldn't get up to the point where you hear a girl screaming, "Get up," or "Get off me," or something like that. Like, you just hear people screaming in the back as it's getting bigger. And, yeah, shit was going on. We have a clip here, another warning. Person like passed out, and I think they're trying to like, I don't know the best way to describe this, but like crowd
I think
surf
this
the
guy
guy.
died.
What'd you say?
I think this guy died.
Man, if this is the guy that died, like here's your guys' warning, letting y'all know now.
Holding him and then finding out.
Go for
Well,
it,
he
Ian.
passed out, and Travis stopped singing and told.
Well, no, in this clip he's still singing. I don't know if he stopped singing later on, but in this particular
It's
clip,
before this, he stopped singing and he tells the security and like people paramedics to get into that area to get that guy out.
They have released footage of that too.
okay.
And then like as they're moving him, he starts ramping up the song again, but he's like watching it like so in the
Okay,
background like,
that's-
you can
yeah,
see him like
okay.
auto tuning a little bit while he's just like humming a note for a little while. He's pretty much just watching the situation though.
That's right. Yeah, you see. that's I guess this. So that's that one.
You know what's crazy though? Ramping up until like the last couple days, like when it first came out, they were already the way they were reporting the stories. They weren't blaming him.
We don't need to show this one, Ian.
But it was
Honestly,
already like
we get the point. I guess there's another footage of a guy getting carried off by emergency. He's clearly passed out on the thing. This is actually say your point. Then we'll get to Travis Scott's response.
up until even like until they just blatantly started blaming him. The way it was reported was really you could tell that was the angle that they were going to end up with. It was weird. I've never watched a breaking story happen, and then as it develops over the next couple of days, I could see that they had already put a narrative in the initial breaking story, and they kind of were just setting it up for like they were always gonna like how this has been shown to us or for us to be absorbed. A lot of blame has been put on Travis Scott. Has been painted. Thank you. A lot of blame has been put on Travis Scott, and it was kind of clear.
So far, what I've seen, it's been
But it was kind of clear even from the get go that somehow like
because people were saying
just
trying to
felt
associate
it.
some satanic demonic stuff to this. Here, real
That's
quick,
the
I
way-
can pull up the other clip, Ian, of that real quick, and then we'll get to Travis Scott's
People
response.
fucking
Go on, Doc.
showing like portals and stuff during his like live set because of the backgrounds that he had while he was singing, and then be like, look, and then this shirt has 6 people and 6 people plus 2 because there's 2 of these posts in the
Yeah,
room.
they're trying to
like,
say his poster also the
yeah,
advertisement
and I'm
for the
just like,
event. They're
what
trying
the
to say some
fuck?
things about that.
You
And
look
then
at the
some
entrance, they
decoration
walk
at
through
the
a
place.
skull.
Yeah, there's some decoration at the place where he had his face, big mouth open. People can walk in it like a house or something like that.
There's a fucking
Okay.
dinosaur lady who's a
Any-
demon running through the crowd,
anyway,
and we saw
whatever.
her.
So let's real quick watch this clip of what this guy said.
It just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't see. Like just imagine all the people they gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like at least 100 people who dead tonight. Like I kid you not. Like in the VIP section, it was
So
so
far,
many
only 8
bodies
reported
laid
dead.
out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted, and the people were the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning them black and blue. Like I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. It was nothing they could have do. Like this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like that was like some demonic shit. Like, and what was so crazy, like people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like help. The whole crowd was just going like help, help, help. And he just kept going, bro. It was like that shit was scary, bro. It was so demonic, bro. And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make.
So yeah,
y'all see
so
everything.
pretty
Like
much
you know, like I've been so
there are some articles coming out. I think the Guardian had one about it. Demonic stuff, and agree, disagree. Like, do you think that's a valid point or not? Blah blah blah. I don't know. I think that's a stretch. I just think people weren't being responsible with the decisions they were making at that event because we all know.
I think it's the vibe, man. I mean, to take it back to fucking to nerdy shit. I think of Magic and like the Rakdos Guild. They're all about partying and like people die during their parties because they're just super lit. And I think that's just the kind of.
And you did say, John, his music's rage music.
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
Travis
it's
Scott's
just-
music's always been about rage, moshing, mosh pits.
Yeah,
he only
it's the
moshes with
vibe and the
his-
culture, and eventually I think it was bottled up
You can get the
and
Travis Scott's
put in a-
response in.
in a bad situation, and all this tragedy just fucking happened, man.
But the people didn't even die in a mosh pit.
And also, apparently, I heard a report. I should have kept it. But apparently, there were some people going around like stabbing people with needles.
Yeah, there was reports that somebody was walking around stabbing people with needles or something. That's what caused the stampede that led to unfortunate 9-year-old's death. Or I think Ian said 8 or 9-year-old's death. I find it hard to blame Travis Scott. One, I'll say this. Astroworld, what Astroworld is, it's literally a festival put on by Travis Scott's people or Travis Scott himself or whatever. And they host other artists. It's like a Coachella, but for Texas. Hosted by Travis Scott. and Travis Scott's whole aesthetic has always been like this. Astro World is like Travis Scott's world, and there's like roller coasters and da 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 da. And it's always been like this bigger than life branding, marketing type thing, right? So like that entrance has always been that entrance. Like you've always entered through Travis Scott's mouth. Like his music's always been like that. I could get the association to demonic when you hear groans, like auto-tuned groans, auto-tuned like his humming. I can get those associations with 808s being demonic and all that stuff. But first off, I do have a question. I'm curious if any of the people that died knew each other, and if they all died in like an area like that was close in proximity to each other. Because I'm curious whether, God forbid, I hope not, that they were on any type of specific drug. Maybe they all took the same
Some
drug.
kind of common
Common
link.
Well, it's 8 people that died and like 100 something other people that were taken to the hospital. So I doubt the 100 actually know each other.
No. I doubt that too. But the 8 people that I'm talking about, people like, I guess it's an assumption.
Damn, was it
but
100
it
people
seems,
injured?
Yeah, but
I
it's,
guess that makes
remember we
sense from
saw
Stampede,
it on the,
yeah.
But it seems
They
like
never said
the
a specific
8
number, they just
people
said
that they
many
saying
injured.
died. I don't know why I got that vibe. I felt like the 8 people that died before the Stampede. Is that weird to say? Because like all the
I don't
videos
think
I've
so.
seen is like stop the show, da 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 da, this and that. It doesn't insinuate that there was a stampede, because a stampede would have been the end of the show. So
yeah,
it's,
no, I think those people died throughout the show because from what I've seen, like on people's social medias, that they were saying that they were pretty much packed like sardines. Like if you didn't jump with the group that you were around, you stayed down, and then the other people came down. You had to jump in unison with them, and like they were saying, there were times where like you just wouldn't touch the floor because you were so compact and everyone was still up together. Like they was so tight, and so
I believe
those
that.
people who were really compact and probably couldn't were rolling or something like that, or hadn't had enough water because they didn't want to leave to go to the back to lose their spot and stuff like that.
Pass
They
out.
probably passed out, and then if you pass out,
You get jumped on.
you're not fucking standing up anymore. All of a sudden, you slip to the bottom, and people are hopping up and down around you. You get crushed, and so those people just more than likely died that way.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just don't
and
see. I just don't. And I mean, obviously, there's footage of him saying, and I'm not trying to
Yeah, let's
absolve
get
him
to
of
the
anything.
response real quick. Go ahead and play the response.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department, everyone to, help us.
man, I can't tell if he has a headache.
Help us figure this out. So if you have any
It's a
information,
stress.
please
stress
just
habit.
contact your local authorities.
I do that same.
No, I get that, but sometimes
Everybody
it's just
continue to just
the way
keep
he
your
stops.
prayers. I mean, I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you all.
Oh, some facts. Fortnite took Travis Scott off his game. They had a Travis Scott skin. Whatchamacallit? He's been taking off a lot of concerts. He's been taking off of a lot of tours for some reason. His former managers come out and blast him about unrelated stuff. He just felt like, now is the time.
So
Drake is being sued.
I saw that.
Yeah, they're just basically done with Travis Scott. He's slick being canceled. He's offered a refund to well, he's given a refund to everybody in attendance, or offered a refund to everybody in attendance, and obviously he said that he would work to make sure the proceeds or any net profit that he made, or I don't even think he used the word net profit, any money made or was used to go towards the families and helping the families of the lost ones and the injured ones. Um, I could see how they could be held liable for capacity if it wasn't reached, but I mean if it was over capacity, but I would say that would end up being whoever's in charge of like the structure, the facility, like whoever's in charge of the facility would have to make sure it didn't go over
Security,
capacity,
and then they had
stuff like
the hydro stations, like I was talking about, like
water
years
stations.
ago,
They
water
have to do all
stations.
this, especially in times of COVID. So it's for them to even
No
be
one
that
was really
packed in
masked
COVID.
either.
Yeah, like, and we're still waiting to find out what these people died of.
So hold on real quick. Let me say this, I guess, controversial statement. Yeah, I don't know if I really blame Travis Scott either. My blame, and this is where it gets controversial, is on the actual like attendees, people, like the people that actually went. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. I guess since we argued intent with the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, to argue intent then is, did you take, we're not actually intent, but did you take the necessary precautions to keep yourself, either one, hydrated, depending on what you took, or two, did you take a proper, drink enough? Did you smoke too much? Did you want too many pills? Like, were you irresponsible? Like, that's where my, I guess, thing is on the actual attendees, because it was the Stampede thing. Like, y'all really couldn't just stay in a single file line
Unless
and
there
get
was
through
somebody
that. Like,
stabbing them.
well, no, the first one you said, I get that one.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
The one we saw, because that's not the one where the person was getting hit
You're
with
right.
needles and Stampede.
You're
The
right.
first one was just people being impatient and wanting to hurry up and get in. Fortunately, there were probably some people bruised, maybe, or God forbid, broken or sprained. Nothing too serious, hopefully. I mean, that is pretty serious, I guess you could say. But anyway, people just being impatient, getting in, just being blah, 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 or people trying to get in free and they just started that and blah, blah, blah. Or they had something illegal. They didn't want to go through security, so that was their way of getting through security without having to be patted down. Either way, irresponsibility. And then you could argue the intent here is if someone really was going on with a needle, like, really? A needle? Bro.
And then also, I mean, who expects
the attendees, like,
who expects death? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody, the assumption was these people were passed out. I'm pretty sure, like, only the people in the immediate vicinity of the person who actually, like, either checked the pulse.
Yeah,
or the
see,
person.
because like people passing out's pretty common.
Yeah.
And then I'm even for the artist, like he's seen it, and so I'm sure he was just like, oh, that person just passed out. Let's get them out. I'm gonna keep continuing with the show. I think when you start talking about the whole intention thing, though, I think that's where blame starts to fall on Travis.
I agree there.
Because he cultivates this energy, this vibe of, like, we're gonna rage, we're gonna act like anarchists and stuff like that. And he's got multiple lawsuits against him from different states for having incited riots at his shows and stuff like that.
That's actually
100%.
true.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Having to make people like overflow the areas and stuff like that. Like, fuck the barricades, they can't stop you all if you all just run in here, and like people will get crushed or people fall beneath it. The whole reason people are sectioned out at shows and stuff like that, especially in small areas, is so that that doesn't happen, and so that there's clear lines of path for emergency vehicles to get in and out, as well as personnel. So him to overlook that and purposely incite people to overlook that themselves, that does fall on him. And
But those
even
are
the whole
It's precedent of him, but he still shows a precedent habit.
yeah,
I
he
guess
still
you could
does
say.
it, and they even show
Personality,
videos
character.
on his streams too, like when he was doing the Astroworld stuff, where people approached him to tell him like, "Yo, we think things are going kind of bad," and he's like,
Yeah, we got a
nah,
clip of
let's
that.
keep
Just pull it
going."
up. You don't have to play it, but
Let me
pull it
see.
up. Yeah, it's just the girl when she got on stage. I think behind one of the
Not
camera
this one.
guys.
Not
No, it's
this-
this one. Yeah, and she's telling him stop, like stop the show.
No.
She's
There's
not-
one where
something-
two
he's talking
dudes
about talking
approach
to
Travis.
Oh,
Yeah.
talking to Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like somebody
there's a-
pulled up on Travis.
Yeah, and they're coming up to him. He's like, "Nah, don't talk to me."
Or
like,
just somebody
don't-
give
don't."
credence to that potentially happened. I haven't seen that footage, but
okay.
I believe it because of like this was going on.
Do you
He
think
turns
this girl
back to the
even reached
crowd.
Travis?
And then he asks, I don't know actually for sure if it's that same video, but I know there's also another account where he stopped the show and asked the crowds, Are y'all all right? If you are, stick your middle finger up in the air. And obviously, like only 8 people out of 50,000 have gone down.
He gonna
So
notice the 8 missing.
yeah,
My
so he's not
boy,
gonna
wow,
notice the
that's
8 that
dumb
are
as fuck.
down. Like everyone stuck their fingers up, and he just kept going with the show. And that's why the account says that they had already caught, they had already claimed the show was a mass casualty, and it didn't end until 30 minutes afterwards because there was just like miscommunication all across the board. So
And as
I
far
do think Travis does have some blame to it.
100%.
As far as like how heavy, I really don't know like how to deal with the situation. Like,
As far as them being packed in the first place, I get what you're saying with the culture, but then it's like the dude was humming, like it was really calm, like it wasn't even a, you know what I'm saying? So there are certain
Wasn't it worry
Yeah, like there wasn't
or true care?
No. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking
Oh.
about like he's probably seen 1 million people pass out at his shows, bro.
Okay.
So there was no way
So like Doc said, apathetic.
yeah. So
I actually think he was like in that moment.
he was like, oh shit.
No, he was sympathetic because he stops the show and gets them to go get him, and then I think he realizes like as he's watching him, he's like, "Oh shit, I don't want to scare people. Like, let me hold some attention." And so he starts like doing his little singing.
And to your point, so everybody's getting mad that they were told, the staff was told to refer to the casualties as Smurfs and not dead or deceased. Now,
I hadn't heard about that. It's fucked up.
see, but is it though, Doc?
Well, why were they calling him Smurfs? I don't understand.
Yeah, what do you mean by Smurfs? Yeah.
I don't understand the.
Is that a particular term used for some situation?
Oh,
Like,
I
what's the
do
term?
get that. That is fucked up. If it's Smurf because they're blue, dead.
Oh, that's fucked
That's
up.
fucked
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
I
If
thought it was
that's
some
the
kinda, like,
reason,
industry term
if
or
that's
something like
real,
that.
but there's been a whole bunch of shit coming out. But if there was another term that's not
Is
Smurfs
that just
that they were
dark humor though
using,
amongst the?
no, because they're
I-
dead. But I'm talking about the term for Smurfs was probably for people who passed out. Honestly speaking, it probably wasn't supposed to be for people who died.
Okay.
And obviously with all this stuff going on, the more shock you can add to this, the more fuel you can throw on it, you're gonna do it. But my point is, for them to come up with another term for the deceased was to not incite people panicking and running. You know, 4 dead over here. What do you think the reaction is gonna be? Like, you don't.
That's what I was thinking was the reason why they were saying a code name or something like that.
Yeah, but if it's Smurfs, oof. But I hope it wasn't referring to dead. Why would you have a code word for the dead already? That sounds like wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's more 8 people dying is you're reacting to that. You're not preparing for that. So, I still blame Travis a little bit because, like you said, the culture and all that stuff like that. But I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see all the stuff that comes out. But when things involve this many people, the story actually never comes out properly. Like, it normally just comes out in bits and pieces. People start forgetting things as day goes on. They start adding
Different
details.
perspectives, like
and it's
satanic
just-
one.
it's
I
trying to
think
say
that's
or something.
why they're trying to use semantics against him in this situation, though. And it actually does make more sense, though, in this situation. Because if you look at some of the advertising for it, they show people breaking barriers. And they're like, look at how lit this shit gets. Like, you want to come be here. Look at this shit. And so that crowd comes out of the woodwork to do that. And they did it. And so it's kind of just like, damn, like, you got what you wanted, man. But it kind of maybe went too far. Definitely went too far.
So do you think he's canceled? Because I'll tell you
I
what,
don't
I
think
don't think
he's
he's canceled.
canceled.
Travis is probably the biggest marketed human being on earth right now. Like, besides BTS and all these guys, talking about McDonald's, Fortnite,
Does he have a
Jordan's
shoe?
Jordan's sellout. Like, he had the #1 skin, music, tours crazy, merch crazy. So it's like he's probably the most.
Actually,
Other than-
man, now that you think about it, like I've heard that question come up a lot. Like, and I think because of the vibe that Dave Chappelle put out, where he was just like, think of the baby, and it made people think like, you're right. Like, we didn't cancel that guy for killing people, but we did cancel these people for saying, homosexual slurs.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of people have thought about that. I myself have thought about that. And even now that you bring it up, like
He's not gonna
Travis
get
has
canceled.
incited this similar behavior before. And so I would understand if people are like, "Nah, I'm done with it."
So he's
Like,
incited this behavior before, even though he may, I don't know if he did or not, but even though, let's assume he didn't, even though he may have not incited that type of behavior in this incident, does that not still crucify him? Maybe that's the wrong word to use, but at least some blame with nurturing that kind of culture or fan base or
well, that's what I'm
whatever.
saying. That's what I think people would
Yeah, I
outright
get,
just
yeah.
reject from now on. To be like, "Oh shit, finally we connect all the dots, and we're just not about it anymore." Like
So then
it's too outrageous.
that would bring a different conversation to as far as like content then, because if your content as an artist is a character, could you then now be held responsible for anything that happens based
From the
off
character
of
you
what
built.
from the
Yeah,
character and culture you
I think
built?
you can. I mean, if people can create Trump into a character and then try to hold him accountable for like the whole revolution and stuff like that, or
Damn,
the
that's an interesting point.
insurrection, then
And
like
so
they can
that's a
totally
slippery
hold him
slope.
accountable for his character.
That is a slippery slope. Wow.
And so that's
And
what I'm scared of.
So the other thing too that I was thinking about is that I was
point.
comparing this to the Who. So in 1979, the Who held a concert and a bunch of fucking people died. But the Who, I don't ever hear accounts of like the Who asking like people to break the barrier and stuff like that to come into it. It's just like the Who was just too big, and people were like, I need to get to the front to see the Who like that. And if you listen to like their music, it's not really about like raging either. Too, I think they were just too big for their own good.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong. Like I don't have like
Yeah, I don't
video
know either,
footage like I
honestly.
do from this, and so I think that's the difference. And going back to the whole whatever that Rittenhouse guy's name is, if we're arguing intention and
Grosskreutz.
like I think that's the key issue with it. For I think no, I feel that freaking Travis Scott's intention was to rage, and he got what he wanted, and I think people are upset about it because it was just too much.
That's why they're
2 people
blaming-
died at a Michael Jackson show, and he kept performing. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Good.
Moonwalked right off that stage.
Good way to end the podcast on. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in to Fake Deep Thinking. Please follow our socials. We have a TikTok. We got an Instagram page, Fake Deep Thinking. Make sure you like all the clips I've been posting. I didn't post them this week because I was working on making some a new long batch. So make sure y'all keep up with our clips and please like and share them. Make sure you follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment, please. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you hate. See you next time on Fake Deep Thinking.
I'd like to give an update on the baby situation. You remember he was canceled? He got uncanceled because, they gave a cosign. Key members of that community gave a cosign for the baby to perform. He performed, and then they realized, oh wait, we didn't mean to give the cosign, so the baby's back canceled again. I'm just giving the update. So they accidentally uncanceled him, but he's back canceled. So, boom, we have that.